DevOps testing, curl. Smoke testing, curl. Integration testing, curl. Is there nothing curl can't do? Can't make me breakfast or give me a haircut. That's for one. On this episode, where I reveal just how sexy I have gotten, we're going to talk about curl versus Postman and how curl can do literally all your automation testing for APIs. And we're going to go through a lot of what curl can do for you. So come on along, and we're going to show a lot of you people out there who haven't been properly introduced to curl and what it can do for you, and show you why you should be using curl, because it is now available on every platform. So come on along and let us walk you through curl and why you should be using it and why it's great for all of your automated testing needs. So the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at a simple get. But before we get into that, let's take a look at curl. So as I mentioned earlier on, curl is found on every single system out there. It's on Windows, it's on Mac. Well, it's on Windows now, but it's on Mac, it's on Linux, always has been. So you really don't have to do a big search for it. If you are, then, I don't know what to tell you. But do a quick Google search for your system if you're having problems. You'll find it really quick. Mac curl, Windows curl. It's not a problem. It's on your shell of every single one of your systems, so you can just go like this. And I'll show you here real quick. It's just type man. Oop, I have to type over the microphone here, so we'll go like this. Man curl. And you will pull up a page that looks very, very similar to this web page here, which explains everything about what curl is, how to use it, so on and so forth. If you go down into your options, it gives you all of the flags that you can use with it. And if you're not familiar with curl and how to use shell commands, don't panic. Don't freak out or anything. I'll walk you through it. I'll explain it. If you're a pro, hey, you know how people react to command line shell flags, so have patience and don't talk down to people who are new to this, all right? We're trying to move people off of UI and UX and be able to automate a lot of this for themselves and for testing and for DevOps. And so for those of you who are also new to curl and everything, the reason we use curl is because it's really, really good for DevOps and things like that, so that we can automate a lot of these tests for smoke testing and things. If you're doing this simply in something like, what is that tool? Postman. If you're doing this strictly in Postman or what, it's not going to work out. It's going to be completely useless. You can't use your UI or UX. Well, you can, but it's going to be really problematic for DevOps. It's more problematic to do it that way. Whereas you can just take a script, put in a curl command, and boom, you tested your API. You've tested your API endpoints. Classic example here. I'll just show you real quick. Let's go on down to the shell here, and we'll pull something up. So I'm going to just make a quick call to a local host API endpoint that I have set up here to person show with the ID of 1, as you can see here. I'll just highlight it here real quick. Localhost version 1.658, person show 1. And we'll call that real quick with my bearer token, which you see there. Call that real quick, and we get back this. Now, you'll see that we also got back a ton of additional information. So if you've been seeing, well, here, I'll call it without verbose. So up here in curl, I use -v. Now, if I call that without verbose, you'll see I've removed it right here. We just get back this. None of all these additional header information. Now, if you've been watching my other videos where I've been talking about BAPI bench and benchmark testing and everything, you'll remember that I actually, let's close that out. I actually showed that in the benchmark test, where you have document length, which is this part that's returned, whoops, right there. This is all the information for your resource that the response sends back. And then you have transferred per request, or transferred data, which is 307 bytes versus the 112 bytes that the resource is. And this includes all of your header information, which was all that additional information that you saw there. The host, the user agent, accept, content type. Well, actually, I think that's what was sent. Yeah, that's what was sent, but we get back a bunch of additional information back here in the response. And so that's all of that additional information, 307 bytes versus 112 bytes right there. So a lot of people get this confused. So it's really nice to see, hey, whoa, I'm getting back all of this additional information. What the hell? Versus what was sent versus what was returned. You can see that right here. And this helps you to translate that and understand a little better. Versus if you're just doing that in the UI, UX and not understanding, not seeing the data firsthand, you might not. It's parsed better. I will say that about Postman. It's parsed better for you, for the people who are not using a tool like this. But here, you're getting all the information. It helps you to understand it. But as I pointed out, this is really good for automation. You can't use Postman for automation. You can't use Postman for DevOps. But you really should be able to understand curl to be able to automate and to test, and for things like DevOps and Jenkins and things like that. So that's a simple get, and those are a couple of useful flags. -v for verbose, which will tell you a bunch of additional information about the request and the response. And you'll also notice that I'm using -h. -h stands for header. And let's see if I can go back to here. Yay! We go back to here, and we could cruise on down to find H. Yeah, there it is. You can use -uppercase H, and there's an alternative where you can use -h. You can use same thing with V. I believe you could use -v or -verbose, the actual word verbose. So, at any time, have a question, just man curl, or you can even use curl --help. Very, very similar. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little fancy here with this one. So over here, we're going to do a post, and with this, I'm going to do this as a batch job. So with this, we're going to use a test endpoint that I created to just do a quick post and create an entry. But normally, wherein I could just I would just put in something very, very similar to this in here, just within double quotes. I have it so where I'm sending, where I'm sending a whole set of data in here as a list, also with telling it to combine the data that's coming back and things like that. So this is how you send data with this flag right here, -D. When we go on up here, this is -D, the data flag. And as you can see, I can just put in pure JSON in here. You can put this in as, well, JSON for me seems to be the easiest because I already have a JSON parser as a filter. But I believe you can put this in as, well, there it says X form URL encoded. If you read through here, it will tell you, yeah, I thought so, URL encoded. So I'm glad I read that. But you can put this in however you are parsing it for your needs. I'm parsing for JSON, so I put it in as JSON. So there you go. Plus, also, I'm saying content type application JSON. So I parse based upon how you're returning it. So I'm going to divert a little here. 90% of your data that is sent is parsed the exact same way. So the basis for this is that if you're returning data, you should be sending the exact same data. So if my format type is JSON, you should be requesting in JSON too. If your format type is XML, you should be requesting in XML. Unless you're specifically going to return for an entirely different type, like PDF or something, then you have to build a separate endpoint or something specifically for that. But that's why content type. Now, back to this. When you request post, you're allowed to send data like that. And you can send it however you need, URL encoded, JSON, XML. You can even send as a file, but you can't send file via -D. Now for file, allow me to show you how that is. Okay, so for file, it would look something like this for that part. Putting your header, and then you would type -- data binary, and then a pointer to wherever your file is on your system. Now, this specifically, as you'll notice, is because I'm declaring you're sending a JSON file type. And again, keep in mind that I just explained that I declare content type because I'm saying whatever you're returning, you should also be sending the exact same file type. And that's the way my systems work, because I don't feel like typing. I don't think you as a user should be making up for my mistakes as a back-end developer and typing a different file type for every single thing. You should just assume whatever I'm sending you, you should be sending me that file type, and I have to deal with it. So yeah, this is how you do it if you want to send file type rather than just encoding it like that. So, for example, if this wasn't a batch job, I would type it like that. Very simple, nice and clean. Do. And I believe, yep, it sends back something very simple and easy like that. Yeah, not too tough. And that's the way a post works. Delete. Delete works very similar to a get. Put works very similar to this as well. The only thing you have to do for a put is that you would change the request. Put. The only thing that you would do differently for a delete is that you would encode it almost identically to a get, except you would say delete. Very simple. And this is the vast majority of all of your curl calls. Nice and sleazy, nothing to it. That's curl in a nutshell. I mean, you can do everything from right there, and if you have any other problems, it's really easy to do a quick Google or just read the man page and figure everything else out from there. I mean, you can pass all your headers, you can handle all your security, you can get all of your information back. It's all right there. Right there. You don't have to go anyplace for it. It's easy to figure out. Figure it out. It's so easy. Yeah, but it's easy to automate. It's so easy to automate. So easy. Yeah, why do you need a UI or a UX for this? You can just do it all right there. Yeah, anyway, if I have more, I'm going to add it here at the end.